Okay, so if we have a quick look, again, any perspective drawing, always double check your angle. So we can see this is at 30, this is at 60. So I'm going to come down to my SP and I'm going to go 30 degrees to my picture plane, 90 degrees down. So if I've gone 30 one way, I've got to go 60 the other way. So again, from my SP to my picture plane and then down to my horizontal. I just like my lines to be even, so I've just drawn a construction line just so I can bring it down nicely like that. I have my LVP one side, RVP on the other side. Now, on this drawing, if I have a look, I can see it does that. So that is a ramp. So I can see that this here would be my ramp. Okay? So what I'm going to do, this line here, nice and lightly, 90 degrees down, and I'm going to take it to my right and to my left. So right and left. Okay? What I am going to...
I wanted to ask a question.
Ask?
Sorry. When I was practicing 2 points, one of the drawings had 2 points on your picture plane that you have to take down. But then when you have to take the heights
Yes.
across, there was 2. Obviously now there's 2 different ones, and if you take them from when you take the height across, like horizontally, and that points back to your vanishing points, then the heights would be different. So then how do you know which
Height to use
on the horizontal to take to?
Okay, I would say bring it. Let me have a look at it because it should come out to be the same height. So with this one, so I can see that my ramp goes up to this height here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring that lightly to my middle, and I'm going to take that to my right vanishing point. So from there to there, nice and lightly. Now I'm going to bring this corner. So what I'm doing is I'm working with everything that's in pink at first. Line it up with my SP. Once it touches my picture plane, 90 degrees down. And that gives me my ramp, the start of my ramp. Can you see that? Take that now nicely to my left vanishing point. Now I'm going to bring this point and this point. Okay, can you see my ramp?
Yes, thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay. Now what I've done is I've brought the back of my drawing down. What I now want to do is I can see over here that my ramp goes to this line here. So that would help me with where the positioning of my, if I can call it my first floor, because this is all ground floor, so I want to be working just a little bit higher. So I'm going to bring this point here. Okay, now I'm going to take that to my right. And I'm going to take it all the way, oh, my board's a bit high, to over here. So the next little bit that I'm going to be working on, so what I've done, I've drawn that part there, and I've drawn that part there. Does that make sense so far?
Yes, all good.
Okay, so I'm going to bring this point down. Okay, I want to draw this piece here. So that piece, I line it up with my left, reverse project downwards, and I can now bring this point to it. Now I'm going to take my new point because I want to draw this portion here now. So I'm going to take that all the way to my right. I'm going to take it lightly to my right. Okay. Now I've got two ways to do it. I could now start bringing this all the way, but just for something different, I'm going to bring this point down here, which I'm going to need just now anyway. So I might as well bring it down early, get it done. So where that takes my line that I took to my right gives me that piece of the wall. Does that at least make sense? So I've basically just drawn that part. Again, take it to my left, reverse project, because I'm now doing this wall. So there, as we can see, I've drawn that. Now I'm going to do this portion here.
So a silly question.
Never a silly question.
The dotted line is just, you have to draw that, right? It's
Yes,
just
it's hidden
dotted
detail.
because you can't see it.
That's right.
All right. On both of that, at the top one and the part on the right, you have to draw all of it, right?
That's correct.
Will they ever ask you to not draw the hidden detail?
They sometimes ask you not to draw hidden detail, but remember, this is my roof, so I can see inside it over here, so it's no longer hidden over here. Because what I've drawn there is this wall here and this wall here. So not necessarily because it's hidden detail doesn't mean you're not going to see it here.
See it.
But
okay, makes sense. You just can't see it from that view there, but when you're drawing it at the bottom, you will be able to see it.
yes, that is correct. So a lot of the time when they tell you don't draw hidden detail, they are talking about the inside of a house or inside of a building where it is hidden all the way. So a lot of the DBE matric papers don't ask you to draw inside of the building. Okay, so now what I've basically done is I've drawn this portion here, and now I'm going to come onto this piece here. Okay, got that. Let's go and start doing a little bit of some height here. So what I'm now going to do, excuse me, I want to draw this portion here. Okay, which is also this portion here, which is this part here that I'm going to color in. So what I'm going to do, on my line that's touching my picture plane, I'm going to bring both of them down, or both across. Now from that, I'm going to take them both to my right vanishing point. Nice and lightly, both going through to my right vanishing point. And what I'm going to do is when they touch this line, I take them to my left. There it goes to my left, and there it goes to my left. Now, I know children using color, again, this is a great time to use colored pencils, especially for your construction. It helps you tremendously. So what you would have noticed, I've drawn, that's a bit too dark. I just want to erase it. It's supposed to be a construction line, and I got a bit over eager. Okay, both of those points I'm going to take to my right vanishing point, because you would have noticed, hopefully, on the top view that my braai sticks out just a little bit. And there is my little bit of my braai. I see that line that I erased hasn't quite gone totally. I think you guys can still maybe see it on camera. I apologize. Just give it a bit more of an erase. So hopefully you should notice that the line I just brought down goes behind it a little bit, because that's where my other line was. That's where this line is. So it goes behind it. Okay. Coming back, before we get onto my, well, let's do the roof and all that quickly. The roof is nice and simple. So again, just something that I like to do, especially when it comes to heights. I'm going to bring my roof down at 60 degrees and bring it down at 90. Now, if I bring the height of my roof across, you should see the two of them meet over there. And I have got my purple pen, so just to use it, you should see the two lines meet there. I'm going to take that to my left vanishing point. Take that off to my left, and now I'm going to bring this line down where it touches, and now where it comes to that point, touches over there. I'm going to take that to my right, but not draw it to my right, but I'm going to reverse project, and I can bring this line down. And there we can see that is the top part of my roof. What I am going to do, I'm going to bring this one also down at 60 degrees. And I'm going to also bring that down at 90 degrees. And I'm going to do that with the height of my building. So it comes down to there. So this is just to work the back end of the roof. Take that, and now I can bring this portion down. Okay, so just double checking quickly. Okay, so I took to there. Just double checking my lines. That one goes to there. That is cool. And then I brought this one down, brought to me there. So where it meets over there. And that is my back of my roof. Sometimes with perspectives you end up with so many lines, it's quite difficult to see which one goes where.
I really struggle with that. And what I started doing in my drawings is like erasing some of the lines. Am I allowed to do that, or will I lose marks for construction?
No. So what I recommend, and sometimes when I do other videos and stuff like that, so what I'll do is once I start getting too many lines, I'll actually just come around and do this. So then I sort of know if the line is a long line, it's the line I'm busy with at the moment. So again, I just create a little bit of a halo, not a big erase, so I can still match my construction lines. So that just gives me a bit more of help and understanding what's going on.
So you won't lose marks for
No,
it?
you won't lose marks.
What do you get marks for when it comes to construction?
So your construction, you've got to prove that you've taken your points to your left, you've taken your points to your right, and you've brought these down. So me leaving that there is fine. I've got my construction. And you can see I'm taking them to my left and right. Although I've created a halo, you can still see that I've used the lines. I'm not just guessing. I'm not just winging it.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay, then also you will see my wall here. So I've brought that down at 90 or 60, bring it down at 90, and I can bring my height to that point. Again, take it. Now I can quickly draw this part because I've erased that. I can see which line is which. Okay, and I can draw that down. Okay, and I just need the back end of my roof. That just helps me with this little portion. So there's a little line there. Okay. Again, just neatening up some of my construction lines, just so you can also see what's going on for those at home. And now we can get on to the last little bit, which is all these parts over here. Just darkening that line a little bit, just darkening that line a little bit. Okay, now up to there quite easy. Now we're going to get onto the front part of my drawing. Over here, hopefully we've noticed that there is this portion here that I'm going to color in. So we should see that there is a bit of a step, which is also, as we can see, this little portion here that I've just colored in. So what I'm going to do, bring that nicely to my middle or to my starting point. I'm going to lightly take that back. And then where my step was here, where that meets that line, I'm going to take that now to my left. And that will actually give me that little bit of a step. It's not a big step. And that gives me that little portion of the step. Okay. Now I can get onto my circle. Now, again, I have my circle, going to divide it. Please remember, it's already at 30 degrees. So if I bring my ruler this way, this is going to give me 1 division. Flip my ruler over, gives me my 2nd division. Okay, now remember, because I started that way, if I flip it over that way, that one gives me that one, which I've already got. But if I do that, it gives me the next one. And now I can just flip my ruler over again, take it there. Okay, now because that is a full circle, I'm going to 30 degree these all to my picture plate. I'm doing these construction lines a bit dark so you can see them on camera. Okay, and now from all of those I'm going to 90 degree them down. Again, the circle, you are going to have lots and lots and lots of lines. So please make sure that you work carefully. So what I'm going to do, I'm just looking for my pen. I come along and I make little marks so I know what is going on. So I'm going to bring this one down later, but I want 1. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course that is 7. So here I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am going to bring 1 and 7 down just now. Okay, so I've got 6. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring 6 to 6. I'm going to take 5. And I'm going to bring 5 to 5. So a lot of students or teachers will tell you to bring all the lines down. I prefer not to. I go line for line, especially with the circle, because the circle can confuse you, and then it's very difficult to get back onto track because you're now upset, you are frustrated, and then it just causes a lot of heartache in a matric final or a matric prelim. Okay, now I'm going to do 7 quickly. And I'm going to do 1. And just creating my circle. Okay, now if you've noticed, I've got a little bit of my circle that I also need to do. So what I'm going to do for the bottom end of my circle is, yes, I'm going to see 6, I'm going to see 5, and I would see 4. So where 6 touches the bottom here, I'm going to bring 6 through. Where 5 touches the bottom, I'm going to bring 5. And where 4 touches the bottom, I can bring 4 through. and just neaten up my curve. And that there is a 2-point. Quickly done, nicely, easy. Again, like I said, if you want to come and erase some of your construction just to make it a bit more visible, remember you don't have to, because you've got all your construction in. And there you go, that's what it looks like. Quickly, easy, 40 marks.